What is going on, guys? Today we are looking at all of the SBCs that are currently available. We've got a lot to go through. There's a lot of packs out. There's a lot of fodder going around and everything is absolutely on the floor. So I feel like this one is going to change a lot of perspective on card prices because we just had an 85 times 60. This is recorded on the Saturday as I'm not going to be here on the Monday. So if any SBCs come out Sunday, which I'm assuming might be Mearham. I guarantee it will come out when I'm not there. So that one would be a must complete. I think that one's a pretty obvious one. If it's somebody else, we will kind of cover them in the next week. So let's run through the list then. So if we start with the icons, because the icons are a funny one, because there's now, if we have a look on here, we have got all of the future stars that are ending within the next 2 weeks. So realistically, that should be the start of team of the season, I believe, if not a week out for most of them. So that's Shevchenko, Rijkaard, Baggio, and also Cannavaro. And as you can see from the prices, 240, 200, 283, and 423. I must admit, I try and take their initial price rather than when it goes up and down, but it's definitely something you can't ignore 100% of the time because it most definitely does add a value to it. If I told you a Socrates is 1 million or 2 million, it's gonna give you a different outlook on the card. So if I get them all up here, we've got Rijkaard, Cannavaro, and also Baggio wherever he is. So they're the four that are left in here. I'm still going with the same opinion on them. I think for me, Baggio is okay value. I don't necessarily think he's one that is worth doing. Maybe out of a fodder portion just purely now because we do have fodder. And I think the other three are great value. When we look at Shevchenko, 240, still a decent striker even at this point. Now we've had Fantasy and also we're in the Golazo promo. It seems to be that players have just ramped up out of nowhere. Granted, it's because of Team of the Season right around the corner. More than likely, they're going to introduce triple playstyle pluses, and the cards are going to be of a higher level. So they've almost ramped some cards up to say, okay, it's only a slight increase, but the triple playstyle plus is where's to go. So that's going to be a really interesting one for the first SBCs as well. If they want to start with community, they then potentially go into Prem. It's going to be a whole new game mode again. Hopefully it does rejuvenate this mode because at the minute, I must admit, it's getting pretty boring. Rijkaard, great value. I think 190 for him is perfect. 89 rated. He's just as good as someone like Petit, who was coming in at double the value. I don't know what he's at right now, but a very, very good card for the price you can pay. When it comes to Cannavaro, a very good centre-back. I will always say, and you're probably sick of me saying it, I'm not a fan of the double playstyle plus on him, but he is always going to be a good centre-back. Then we move into a couple of the other icons. We'll go to the next row. We've got Jarzinho at 1.7, Yashin at 1.4, Torres at 520, and then we have Socrates or Socrates at 1.37. So if we get them up, we've got Socrates, we've got Yashin, we've got...
If your team's looking like this, then I have the place for you. Head over to U7Buy for all your coin needs. They're cheap, fast, and reliable, but make sure to use JT11 at the checkout for 6% off all of your coin orders.
Torres, and who was the last one? Jarzinho. Okay, so in terms of these, Torres I think is an easy one. Just put him in the bin. Unfortunately for him, he's just come at the wrong time. He's a very good card, and to be honest, I think if he got an upgrade and then was the SBC like Socrates in that promo, I could have been like, okay, that is going to be well worth doing. I just don't think he's worth doing, especially with the amount of cheap strikers we've got on the level of him. We've just got a Van Persie at like 120k. He's a 500k SBC. At the minimum, he's 200 at the minimum. That is it. And even then, I think that is a stretch for him. Don't get me wrong, very good card. I like Torres this year. I just think the SBC was way out of touch. When it comes to Yashin, I think a very good centre-back. Unfortunately, not lengthy, so that will take a little bit of toll on my personal opinion on him. I think he was brilliant coming out in the Winter Wildcard promo, but since then, we've had a lot of good centre-backs. Even to this promo with just a Sol Campbell and a Collier upgrade, they have been fantastic. You then got someone like Adilit, you've got Marquinhos, you then have a new Maldini. There's so many, and that's not even mentioning Team of the Years. He's just not in the must complete in my opinion anymore. Same with Jarzinho as well. I think he again is a very good right wing. I'm surprised we didn't see anything from him this promo, because I felt like it always goes in a cycle. It's like Garincha, then Jarzinho, then Best, then Garincha, then Jarzinho. They just follow that same pattern. And this time around, they've not had anything. There's not been a right winger, I don't think, for an icon. It's very weird to see, because Beckham was the last one. So we had a winter wildcard for Garincha. Jarzinho was obviously Centurions. Best was Team of the Year. And then Beckham was obviously in the Future Stars. And then Figo was Thunderstruck. So we've not had another right wing. I was expecting, to be honest, Jarzinho being the last one, or the first one to be upgraded, but the last one since then. So it is a shame that he's not been upgraded. Then obviously with Socrates, I like the card. I think he's very good. But the thing you've always got to remember with SBCs at this point is we are so close to Team of the Season. When it comes to spending 1 million coins on SBCs, never think that it is cheap, because it's still difficult to do, because it's not now that you spend 1 million and you can kind of be done for the month. There is multiple million SBCs, and that is the whole purpose of making you buy packs, or getting the incentive to buy packs. Oh, there's a 60 times 85 out. Brilliant, I'll go do that. I'll go put it all into Socrates. Well, what about the next SBC? What about the SBC after that they gradually make better? You've got to pick your battles. Doing an Mbappe at the Player of the Month, a perfect one, because he's going to be in the team for the rest of the game. Socrates is not going to be in your team for the rest of the game. I just guarantee it. Mbappe, a Virgil, Vinny to some extent, but even then, I just think he came at the wrong time, unfortunately. I think they are good value for what they are. I just don't think he is the perfect value where I'm like, go and do him. If he was sub a mil, maybe 800k, I'd say he's a must complete. 1.37, I personally would steer away. And it's not necessarily because of his ability. I just think what you can actually get, he's not quite up there, in my opinion, for the price that you pay him. Then we have got the next row. We've got Roberto Carlos, Makalele, Ribery, and Hadji. So I've listened to some of the comments. If I don't respond to the comments, it's just I have so many. I always try and read them. If I can get back to you, I definitely will, if there is an answer that I can give you. But I normally try and make sure I look through them. And at the minimum, I'll look through them before doing this video, so I know that what you're saying. So I can say, if I don't say the same thing again, basically, because some people with Hadji, they reckon he's really decent. And to be honest, I think he's probably better than what I've kind of described him at times, because I normally am quite harsh when it comes to players, because I know what level we're at the game. I've not changed my team in God knows how long, and I don't really grind that hard. It's very basic. I stay 11 wins on champs. I do a little bit of rivals, barely even get the weeks now, and then I just do the daily SBCs. The only thing I probably do differently is sometimes I buy promo packs. It's probably the only thing I do differently now, and I definitely don't grind as much of the League SBCs because of the promo packs. So that is kind of the only real differences I have, and Hadji just doesn't really change anybody's team that I come up against week in, week out. There is a lot of people with a lot better, and it's just not going to fall into that category. The one thing I will concede, I do think he is good value. At the minimum, I don't think he's a must complete, and that just goes down to my personal, but I do think he is decent value. At 430 now, definitely much better. Then it comes to Makalele, it comes to Roberto Carlos and Ribery. To be honest, I don't think any of them even then are in that big of a category. Even with Ribery, I'd probably say he's only okay value at 1.8. It's a lot for the wing that we really already have an abundance of. And you could argue the same for Roberto Carlos at 1.6. We've got a lot of left backs. Baka, 100k. We had her since literally the beginning. Havertz at Winter Wildcard. These are cards that definitely can still play. They may not be the left back that you've got. Rolfo is a great example of that at 600k. Now a 93 left back. She can definitely handle her own at a left back, and I don't need to upgrade to Roberto Carlos. I think the differences between what I see for Ribery and what I see for Roberto Carlos is Ribery is in the top of his position, but he's definitely not in like the top two, whereas I think Roberto Carlos could be considered in that possibility. You have got Teo comes to mind straight away, Sakina as well. I think there's an argument there. Then you're looking at Rolfo. I don't think you're looking at Cole personally, but you're looking at Roberto Carlos then. He's in that top 3, top 4 category. With Ribery, there is so many left wings, it's unbelievable. You've got like 3 difference of Ronaldinho that are above him. So that is the crazy aspect of being a winger. There's always going to be people above him. And there is another SBC for a left mid right there as well. Then we have the players. So this is where it gets a little bit more interesting, as there is a big difference in price everywhere. So if we have a look at the player of the months first, we've obviously got De Jong. In fact, De Jong and Lewandowski I've left out because I believe by the time this video does go live, they should be gone. Or at least they will be going in the next few hours. Normally, I put them in don't complete. A lot of people don't like that, so I've just left them out of it, as really, they're gone. But realistically, both of them are just fodder players anyway. So then we have got Rasmus. Rasmus got 8 days left. I like him. Dybala, he's got 136k on him, 126 for Wirtz. We then also have Perrier. I couldn't see his name then. We obviously at 15k. Brilliant, great value. And then Vinny at 1.1. Now, let's get them all in. Dybala, Wirtz, Rasmus, Vinny, and Les. Beautiful. So obviously with Les, he's already got a better version. He's got an 89 fantasy. It's fair enough. The big thing, he's 15,000 coins. Grind him out, get him done. You've got yourself an 88 fodder card. It's as easy as that one for me. Then we have got Rasmus. I really like his playstyle pluses on this. When it comes to the difference between the 89 and the 88, even if there is only a slight difference in stats, you're looking at what? A little bit of passing gone. He's got, what, 1 more shooting, 1 more dribbling, 1 more physical. No pace increase, but then you go from the power shot first touch to the quick step and aerial. It depends on what you like. I really like that version of him, and I think at 72,000, he's worth a look in. I maybe at this point now think maybe not a must complete, but great value for the card. Wirtz can stay there. I just think 120k for him is just not worth it. Dybala, I definitely think is worth it. He's a brilliant card. If you've used him, tried him out, you'll know what I'm talking about. He is absolutely fantastic. And now Vinny. Vinny unfortunately has just come at the wrong time, and it is such a shame because Vinny should be celebrated. We do not get SBCs for Vinny. I literally cannot remember the last time we've ever even got an SBC for Vinny. Because we got... It wasn't an SBC there, I don't think. So he's had nothing there, I don't think. I'm pretty sure that was a team rather than an SBC. Yeah, he must have been. Then prior to that, we've not an SBC. He did have FIFA 22, so he had a player of the month at 87. So at that point of the game, probably not the greatest. And then obviously since then, he's not really had one, to be fair to him. So he has literally only had 2 SBCs. And this one is unfortunately a little bit lackluster. That being said, it is Vinny. He's always going to be worth it at the minimum. I just don't think 1.1 at this point is going to be worth to spend, especially when he's more than likely going to get a team of the season. That being said, it's kind of the same as the Mbappe rule. Are you really going to pack his team of the season? I personally am okay to wait till footies for him because he's always going to get a footies. There's no shadow of imagination that Vinny, Haaland, Mbappe, Ronaldo, Messi don't get a footies. There's so many players added to it. He is just going to get one. That is a granted. Then we move up to some of the players then. So we've got the final kind of selection now of the Ultimate Birthday. There's a few decent ones, but then there's also a few stinky ones, to be honest. We have lost Coman in this. We've still got Tchouaméni, Openda, Cuadrado, Sakina, and I think the last one's added was a beautiful Reece James that is going straight to the top of this list. One of the best priced SBCs we've seen since probably Rolfo, Baka, Havertz, probably even like the Blancs of the world. 100, what is he coming in at? 100, it was 180, 176,000 for Reece James. It's a snap-up deal. We don't have a right back other than the top like Carfu, where I'm like, yes, get him into the team. This is a perfect one, and the amount of times that I've seen him this week is crazy. Now, if we was going for the rest of them, we've obviously got quite a few in here that are kind of priced differently. So we've obviously got Cuadrado at 445. not a big fan. Openda at 216. We have another Openda. I'm only doing one because there's just no point. We have Harriet at 40. Grimaldo at 60. Chouameni at 1.5. Sakina, the two differences between 522 and 622. We have obviously Reece James. We then have Doddy. Lucabacchio. Yeah, I got that name right. 66. We have Ferguson at 40. And then we also have Williamson at 28. So straight away, what I'm seeing there towards the end of the Ultimate Birthday, it fell off hard. Like, genuinely, it was... The first week was fantastic. Start of the second week was brilliant. As soon as I saw that Galazzo was coming, like, literally like Tuesday, Wednesday, it was done. Ultimate Birthday was finished. But in terms of the SBCs, we got some great value SBCs from the prices that were out there. So if we look at a few of them, we've got Harriet, we've also got Ferguson, both versions, and even Grimaldo. For the price that you're paying, sub 100k for an 88-89 that you can grind out with SBCs is always going to be worth it. They're great value. You can put them into the SBCs, you can put them into a random squad. That's perfect. When it comes to the more expensive, we've got to see what the actual worth is. Sakina, unfortunately for me, I don't think is the value. And I'd even say the same as Cuadrado. I'd possibly go with Cuadrado for okay value. I think Sakina is just a waste. 500 to 600k, not worth it. Especially when we've got someone like a Reece James the other side for such cheap value. Cuadrado at least has got some options where I'm like, okay, he is decent enough. Sakina's got multiple versions, so I'd much rather just go there. Openda, I'd probably say is okay value as well. 200 isn't terrible for what you're getting, but I don't think he's necessarily living up to that expectation. And now Chouameni is probably the one that caused the most of the stir, because there is like a half and half of the community for him that say he's overrated, he's underrated, he's the best centre mid we've had for a while, or he's just not worth a penny. I personally think he is absolutely worth it. I think the value of him is spot on. He's a very, very influential centre mid. He's French, Real Madrid. You've always got to pay that tax. It's the same as the Prem, and he's 91 rated. He definitely could set yourself in the midfield until team of the season, and then we start to get better. That's just naturally what he can do. Now, if you already have a centre mid that is a decent pairing, I wouldn't say he's worth upgrading over, but if you are struggling with a centre mid, you don't necessarily have somebody to take that midfield by the scruff of the throat, he's gonna do that. Then we obviously have Ginola. Again, with him, there's a few people that really don't like him. I must admit, I am starting to see this year he's not quite at the level as what we kind of saw last year. I would kind of just go with a great value. 2 million for the card that you're getting is good. He's a very good player, but definitely the nostalgic value on Ginola is still coming through. I reckon we'll get the best of Ginola once he eventually hits that footage version. I just think that is going to be what it is for that card this year. Then we obviously have Elwaran and Marquez. I'm going to already say this straight off the bat. Elwaran is unreal. Like, genuinely unreal. He's so quick down that wing. The rapid plus. Granted, he's not necessarily the best version of him. I still think for what, 600 I think he was? 644 is brilliant. Very, very good right wing. I don't think the nostalgic like Ginola is from last year. He is a very, very good card. And then obviously Marquez. Now Marquez is an interesting one, purely on the basis that he's only 333k, which in this market is really not that difficult. But then also you can get him into that 91 as well from the evolutions for the, what's it called, the Heroic Chronicles. You can only do one, so it's like Kohler, Dempsey, Francescoli, Berbatov, Crouch, and now him. I personally think that is a phenomenal player if you get him. 86 pace, 88 shooting, 86 passing, 83 dribbling, 92 and 95. 92 on the composure. I think that's a brilliant card. You're looking at something like an engine as well. I don't know if that's the shadow is what people are going for, but even if you're looking for kind of more of a balanced centre mid there, you go obviously there. If you go for the shadow, I mean, that for 300k is great value. I personally think that is a must complete. So let me know down below what you think. Hopefully you do enjoy, and like I say, comment down below. Peace. Check out the videos on screen.